Infinity Nikki is the 5th game in the Nikki Up To You franchise, coming fresh off the success of Shining Nikki, which dropped back in 2021. This dress-up game has been wildly popular over the years, and it's very easy to see why. The gameplay is simple but addictively Moorish, while there's just enough customization and intrigue to keep you playing each day, and this is very much a game designed to be played over a long period of time rather than blasting through in a single weekend. After playing through a lot of this over the past few weeks, paper games could be onto another winner here with Infinity Nikki. This is very much a gacha at its heart, with core mechanics requiring players to spend in-game currency or real money to receive virtual items. We'll circle back to that shortly, as while the developers have assured fans and critics via the review guide with this early copy that these are cosmetic only, it remains to be seen if that sticks. The game itself is a cozy open world adventure, packed full of different mini-games, a myriad of collectibles, platforming elements and 3 different currencies. All of this interwoven around a pretty enjoyable story at the core. Of course, it's likely that this is going to be developed further over time once the servers get up and running properly, but what's here is definitely enjoyable. After a brief tutorial to get accustomed to the controls, our titular character Nikki is whisked off to the fantastical nation of Mirrorland, which is separated out into different areas. For now, there are 4 major areas, each with their own story quests, side missions, and random events that pop up as you explore. Each is nicely designed and become increasingly challenging to traverse over time. What begins with lush grassland and rolling hills eventually progresses into areas bathed in darkness and large islands separated by deadly water. It's always a joy to explore these new areas, and Nikki's unwavering enthusiasm is partly why it's so fun to play through. The story is broken up into various chapters, with the first serving as a glorified tutorial to get accustomed to all the different controls, buttons and gadgets you'll be using through your adventure. And yes, it is pretty overwhelming, as the game throws not just story exposition at you, but also a world chock full of collectibles and a ton of different outfits too. More on this shortly. You don't need to have any knowledge in the previous games to play this one, as Infinity Nikki takes place in a completely different world. However, there are similar ideas in this one, as we centre on Nikki and her companion Momo, which is an adorable talking cat, with a vaguely defined goal set by a magical goddess of finding all 8 miracle outfits to discover the truth. The main area you begin in is called Wishfield, and Nikki plays the role of a junior stylist here, tasked with discovering a sinister plot involving someone called the Prophet, who is also after a miracle outfit. Along the way, you end up fighting monsters called Esselings and meet an array of characters as you set out to make big changes to the world around you. While the plot is simple enough, the characters are where this one really stands out. Nikki is such a likeable character, and she cares deeply for those around her. Her empathy while talking to important humans and other creatures you talk to definitely helps this one a lot. These various NPCs will usually have missions for you to complete, and the important guys involved in a story have some lovely tales in their own right. The game is designed to make use of dress up as the core mechanic, and this is integral to almost everything that you do within the game. As you navigate through the world, Nikki will unlock different ability outfits to help her progress through missions and uncover more of the world. These are unlocked with whim stars and bling, which is the in-game crafting currency, requiring specific in-game resources to sketch the outfit. This sketching is where your typical gacha/RPG busywork tasks come into play. You'll be grooming animals, collecting flowers, fishing and bug catching, to name but a few, and later on that expands to playing music and even fixing up lampposts. All of these materials can then be used to make your outfits or select pieces of clothing. However, along with your crafting resource called Bling, there's also Diamond, which can be acquired through completing missions, gameplay progression, and inside some chests dotted throughout the world. Diamond can be used to purchase levels, obtain premium items, and even stamina for activities like dungeon exploration. There's also a premium currency here too, purchased with real money, which allows you to buy Stellarite. Stellarite can then be used to either convert into diamonds or to directly purchase outfit packs. These boast exclusive designs not found anywhere else, and also allow you to dress up Momo too, although in the review copy available we weren't actually able to buy any of these. There's also a Battle Pass too, which along with purchasable weekly and monthly cards give an extra boost for consistent play. Much like other mobile games of its kind, there are various blocks in place to prevent you from shooting through the story too quickly. These come in several different forms. The first stems from daily wishes, which are needed for upgrading your styling rank, which is separate to your experience level. These upgrades usually require you to complete a certain number of tasks out in the world and obtain points from wishes. The trouble is there's a block on the amount of wish points you can gain each day, so it's likely you'll reach a point, especially around chapter 5 onwards, where you need to wait days at a time before completing the next stage of the story. That can be quite annoying, but Infinity Nikki tries to circumvent that with a ton of busy work and side missions to keep you entertained. However, the game also blocks you at certain points during styling duels. These require you to craft an outfit using all the tools in your wardrobe based on a specific theme and obtain enough points to gain a perfect score with your clothes to progress forward. This is where the outfit level ups come into play, along with Eurekas, which are little winged creatures that give a styling boost. However, there are times where you need to really grind those levels up to scrape past the required point threshold. There's a whole separate subplot in Infinity Nikki that makes use of this, and that comes from its faction system. This sees you challenge various different gangs around Witchfield to show off your outfitting prowess, and these are also separated out into different areas as well. The real standout parts of Infinity Nikki though comes from its dungeons, which help to overlook some of the more grindy parts of this game. These are all story specific and crop up throughout the different areas you travel to. There's some really imaginative designs here, ranging from a ghost train to a paper crane factory. I won't go into detail with the different areas, but these sections see you platforming around, solving very, and I mean very, basic puzzles, along with a little mini boss and a handful of Wimstars dotted about. There are also story specific bosses too, which require multiple hits to take down, but Infinity Nikki is certainly not a game that's going to be renowned for its combat strength or depth. Here you don't kill monsters per se, but purify them by blasting an orb out at enemies. Tougher foes require multiple hits or have basic attack patterns you'll need to dodge, like splash moves or laser beams before hitting at the allotted time. One button, one orb, and one style of play. There's also not a lock-on system either, which makes shooting a lot trickier than it needs to be when you have to precision hit to complete puzzles. It's all pretty basic stuff and it almost detracts completely from the experience. Given the outfits you unlock, this is a game that very easily could have evolved the combat to implement elemental weaknesses to enemies. Given the array of outfits, these could be used to buff out your player, specialising in various elements, and then quick swap between them while navigating through worlds and dungeons, using enemy weaknesses against them. This would also solve the game's invisible wall problem, which you'll notice as you progress around. Yes, there are barriers for the edges of the world, and they're not particularly subtle either. So yes, while the game is billed as being open world, it's also railroaded into very specific areas and sections. Oh, and as a heads up, you can't swim either, so all those mass bodies of water you'll see on the map are no-go zones. However, throughout the world there's a ton of different things to do and places to see, including a boatload of Wimstars dotted around the environment. These Wimstars are broken up into their own little subcategories too. One style might see you chasing after the star and practicing your speed to get ahead. Another time you'll need to grab all the mini stars for the real Wimstar to pop up. And there's even a little minigame here where you need to find a star hidden within the environment too, camouflaged in plain sight in a highlighted circular area. However, for all the different activities and fun things that Infinity Nikki packs into this, the game does feel quite rough around the edges. I've had graphical glitches, random T-poses pop up in cutscenes, characters freeze, along with a delay on missions starting and ending. There's also been an annoying sound issue too, with the music drowning out the voices, and this is even with turning down the music in the audio settings from time to time. But performance issues aside, the various activities you take part in also feel a bit underdeveloped too. Fishing, for example, doesn't give you any indication as to where the best places to fish are. You just need to look in the water and find the fish, but then when you do, there's no guarantee that the fish that's there is the one that you need as part of your outfit, while also not falling in yourself if the body of water is too deep, of course. And while not a deal breaker, all of this could have easily been resolved with a little indicator. And before anyone mentions, within a game there is a compendium which lets you find specific creatures and then hone in on their location, but even so, it would have been nice just to attach the fishing outfit and just do it right from there. Similarly, early on you unlock a whimcycle, which is basically a bike, which lets you traverse quicker around the environment. However, if you decide to get off and take a look around, there's no indicator to show where you parked your bike. And yes, there were times where I lost my bike and had to rent another one. It's not exactly expensive, I mean it's 200 bling, but it's a tiny inclusion that could have helped the game a lot. The menus are also another point of contention too. I'm not counting this on the final score because it might just be me being an idiot, so take this next criticism with a pinch of salt. However, the game requires you to jump through hoops to find what you need, and the tutorials in-game aren't massively helpful either. For example, the wardrobe and the upgrading clothes are located in completely separate sections. Glow Up is the colloquial name for where you access your upgrades, while the wardrobe just lets you change around your look and style. Oh, and evolution is different to all of these as it lets you evolve your outfit. And this, in turn, is separate to Heart of Infinity, which lets you upgrade parts of your current ability outfit. Meanwhile, mirror levels grant different rewards to your styling level, which is accessed by the courses menu, which in itself is separate to Mirrored Journey, where you gain bonuses for completing daily and weekly tasks. But of course, those daily tasks are different to your daily wishes, which also need to be completed from a separate menu. Personally, I think the entire interface could have done with a huge overhaul, but again, this might just be me, so you'll have to pass your own judgment on this one. However, given the amount of customization options within the game, it's disappointing then that you can't actually change the appearance of your ability outfits. This feels like a complete missed opportunity, especially given you're going to be seeing a lot of these as you progress through the game. These are tiny implementations but would definitely enhance the gameplay experience, especially as you unlock better outfits and gear and kit out your characters to look the way you want. With all that being said, gripes and all, Infinity Nikki is still a blast to play. It's a super chill dress up game with nice platforming and a compelling enough story to stick with for the long haul. The combat is super basic and honestly the worst part of the game alongside those menus. The grinding definitely becomes more evident later on too, although the balancing here could still be tweaked by the time the servers go live. As far as gachas go though, Infinity Nikki is a ton of fun. Sure, there are some issues with its core gameplay loop and some annoyances here and there, but what's within this game is enjoyable enough to make for a solid recommendation. Thanks for watching, and do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like or subscribe to the channel, your support is very much appreciated. I'm Greg Wheeler, and from all of us over here at The Review Geek, we'll see you on the next video.